Welcome to the gorgeous Messingham Sands here in Scunthorpe. It's absolutely stunning venue, and we're here today on the Island Lake. This is Peg 53 and it's absolutely packed to the rafters full of features. So the approach we're going to go for today to catch these rare species in this lake is going to be a rod only day. Normally we'd have a go with a pole, but today we're going to go with the rods. Firstly, bomb is absolutely prolific in this lake. We're going to feed 8mm pellets, we're going to chuck a bomb over the top, and we're going to work really hard. What you can find sometimes is these fish want to come up quite quickly. So what we're going to do, once these fish start showing, we're going to switch to the Pellet Waggler. The Pellet Waggler seems to pick out these really big fish in the lake. If this settles down, we've got another little trick up our sleeves, and that's just to chuck a method straight over the top of this line. What we'll do is we'll swap between baits. I'm going to use like little washters, I'm going to use hard pellets, and just see which picks out the better fish. We've had a little go this morning. We've already picked up a few fish on both the bomb, the pellet wag and the method. The pellet wag was definitely the one for the bigger fish, but they are very wise fish in this lake and very difficult to catch. So you've got to work extremely hard. So the bomb, obviously we had that one early on, then they've come straight up. We've gone on the pellet wag, we've had a few, but they're not settled yet. This, with it being bright, it's quite still. We thought we'd have a little go with the method over the top, and we've picked some silver bream up, we've picked a few nice crucians up, so hopefully we're going to be in for an action-packed day. So on this lake, as you can see, we've got islands here, we've got islands down there, and most of these are just out of pole range. So this is why we've opted for a rod only approach today. And plus these fish are absolutely as fit as can be, and they fight like crazy. So a rod gives you that little bit more sort of backbone to go at. Yes, we can catch on the pole, we can catch really well, we can catch the carp, but the rod effect is some on here some days unbeatable. Plus it gives us a chance to fish these longer ranges. As you can see, we've got like islands both sides, we've got plenty of open water to go at, we've got lily beds in the distance, so we've got, with a pole we're sort of limited to fish with up to 16 metres, whereas beyond fishing rods we can go well beyond this. Right, so I've started on the bomb today. So what we've got, I've gone for a bit more of a stepped up approach because I've got the islands, because I've got the features sort of nearby. We've gone with an 11-foot carp feeder, which is part of the CK range. It's got loads and loads of backbone, nice and soft in the tip for the bites, but tons of backbone for when you've got to play these fish and they start heading towards these features and you need to keep them out of them. Reel wise, we've gone with the Black Viper Compact 845, which has got loads and loads of winding power. Absolutely perfect for this rod. Line is the 020 Senex Method Mono. Going down to the business end, we've got just a free running bomb. it's free running, down to a connector bead. We've gone with 018 Senex hybrid power line to a 14 beast hook, sphere beast hook, and with a hair rigged band and an 8mm pellet, which is absolutely perfect for on here. For the waggler, we've got a sphere pellet waggler rod, 11 foot. Again, we've gone with the 020 method mono line. It's a nice thin diameter, loads of strength. It's about 8-9 pound line, so loads of strength for playing these because the bites are ferocious when they do take it. Reel is a commercial king reel, plenty of winding power, nice small reel. Because it's an active method, we need a nice light reel, we need a nice light rod so we can keep casting regular. Down to the business end, we've got a small foam waggler by Tesnowles to a quick twist snap swivel, just a few gummy stops to stop it, and we're down to a 6-inch 018 hook length, and again a size 14 sphere beast hook. It sounds quite brutal, but these are big fish in here, and they're not line shy whatsoever. So what we've got is a trusty 8mm pellets. What we're going to do is we're going to feed the pellets in 5s and 6s. As soon as the fish start showing themselves, we're going to pick the waggler rod up. We've got the option for if they stop showing, we're going to chuck the bomb back over the top. We're going to keep blasting pellets in, and hopefully we're going to have a bumper day of both carp, F1s and an array of other species. If things we're struggling on the bomb and we're struggling on the waggler, we've got a backup plan. So we've got the trusty method feeder. So for first rod, for fishing down the middle, we've got the sphere bomb 10% power. We've got it lit to sphere reel, loaded with 020 method mono. We're down to a 30 gram method feeder, 018 hook length to a size 18 sphere beast hook. And what we're going to do, we're going to swap hook baits with this. I've got a couple of hook lengths, one with the bayonet, another one with a band. So I can keep swapping between them, putting a 8mm pellet on or using a little washter. We've tried this and we've had a few fish straight away. So later on, if it becomes a little bit more difficult, we'll swap to the band and put the 8mm pellet on. As a second option for fishing nearer to the islands or chucking longer, because we've got plenty to go at. Again, we've got the carp feeder CK rod. We've got the 845 reel loaded with the same line, the method mono, but we've got a different feeder. We've got a hybrid feeder on, and this is a 24 gram hybrid feeder. Gives us a little bit more option to chuck further, and it also gives us a little bit more feed than the method feeder. Got it hooked again, 018 hook length, sphere beast hook, and down to a band with this. The plan with this is really just fish an 8mm pellet in with the micro pellets. Just got some dampened micro pellets, as you can see. Just going to push them into the hybrid feeder, or mould them round the method, and we're ready to go. So what we've done, we've been fishing the bomb. We've had a few indications that they've started to come shallow. So what my aim is I'm going to feed, so there's a few fish coming up to the thing, up to the surface, and then I'm going to flick the waggler over the top. I'm aiming to just try and plop it in. There's indication straight away. So if you can mimic the plops of the pellets with both the waggler and the pellet, so it goes in like a double plop, it tends, that's when you get your bites on the cast. So like you say, just done that then, just cast in, the fish has took it straight away. Not a particularly big one, this one, but it's vitally important to keep them pellets going in, keep them fish competing, so we catch them quickly. We're catching, we've had a couple of carp early on, and now we've got a cracking hide. So everything likes to feed on these 8mm pellets. So I'm going to just repeat the process. It's a really active method, and you've got to work it quite a lot. So what we do, first of all, we feed our pellets. I like to feed 4 at a time, roughly. Get them up on the surface, and then plop the waggler in over the top. Don't always go, and this is why it's such an active method, because if it doesn't, give it a little twitch, see if we can bring the pellet back up. We've had a sign. So again, what we'll do is just put 1 pouch in this time, because they used to 2 pouches. Just nice plop. Clever fish in here, really clever fish. That's why you've got to keep changing things. You've got to keep changing them patterns all the time. If you put 2 pouches in and then cast every time, they're some wise up to it. So just trying to go back to 2 this time, because we've only fed 1 last time. Got them up on the surface competing again. A nice little plop in, give it a little twitch, see if they can come to it. So nothing that time. So what we'll do with this time, we won't put any feed in. The use of the pellets going in. See if we can nail one without feeding. So this time we'll change it about a bit. Just got to keep actively doing this method. So that, there we go. We've got one. So having the balanced gear is vitally important as well, because these fish fight like crazy. It's where that decent size hook and that decent size hook length come into their own. Not plenty of strength. This fowl's like it might be foul hooked. Oh, it's an eel, one of the 2. I'm going for foul hooked. But even though it's foul hooked, you still want to land them. So just taking a bit of time, letting the rod do the work. So keep going. As you can see, it's up on the surface now, coming in backwards. Just keep, no rush. So what we want to do is keep it up on the surface and So when it gets into landing range, we just lift it, hopefully lift it up like that and put it in the net. Nice carp, just hooked in the tail. There's plenty of fish in the peg and just wafting about. So we'll feed our pellets again. Go over the top. That bit of disturbance just seems to have backed off a little bit, so I'll just give it a slightly longer cast just beyond the pellets. We'll feed some of those out, see if we get any signs. Very important to keep watching your peg, keep watching what's going on the surface of the water. Because if we have a few, say 10 minutes without a bite on this, then that's where the bomb rod comes in. So we'll switch back to the bomb, see if they've dropped back down, because they may have backed off, but they may have dropped down. Just keep giving it a little twitch. So it's relentless feeding, relentless casting. But when they really start having it properly, it's very, very rewarding. One thing I really love about pellet waggler fishing is how active it keeps you. There's no sitting on your hands, no waiting about. You've just got to be absolutely relentless with what you're doing. So what I'm trying to do today is just keep it, mixing it up all the time. I'm sometimes feeding, so a couple of pouches, sometimes I'm feeding one pouch, sometimes I aren't feeding at all. I'm just casting, just to try and mix it up. These fish on this lake are very, very wise. They've seen probably everything anglers can chuck at them. And making it slightly different and is the only way that you can get these fish to feed. The active, keeping it really active is the big part of it. You can't, most of the bites when you catch these big carp are on as the pellet lands. As you can see, that one's fell off. But as you saw, that had only just hit the surface and it had gone. So what we're going to try and do again is just keep it doing. We've got they're coming out the water for them pellets. When I'm catching them in, what we need to do is get them to take out a big swell at the back of where the pellets landed. But unfortunately, they're that wise, they're not taking it. So this time I'm not going to feed anything. Just try and mimic the pellets going in, like you would on the pole sometimes when we slap a pole. We're trying to mimic the same thing, so we've done that, and we've had a positive reaction, and it's taken it. Feels like a decent carp. To be fair, they all do in here. Even the smaller ones, they fight like mad. So fit fish. just using different angles with a rod, playing these fish. Because we've got so many features and that, we've got to keep them away from all these features, and not by pulling its head off. It's up on the surface now, so if we can keep it on the surface, keep it coming towards us on the surface, hopefully we can lift it and land it nice and quick. So it's a decent fish, 6 or 7 pounds. Landed in no time at all. And because we've landed it quite quick, it's still quite lively. But if you miss it, if you normally miss the fish with that first net, you're in trouble, because they tend to go nuts from that point onwards. So yeah, we've had an absolutely fantastic day here on the Island Pond at Messingham. We had started on the bomb and then switched to the Pellet Waggler, which, to be fair, has been absolutely unbelievable. We've caught loads of different species, and this is probably species about number 500, which is a nice bream. But we've got our rewards for working hard today. It's one of them methods you're going to have to work really hard at for it to pay dividends. But if you do, you get rewards like that. See you on the bank sometime.